Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 7 of Fats GT's GT3 season. We are in Australia today. It's Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia, at Mount Panorama, one of the most feared tracks on the calendar. If you were to pick two tracks that usually inspire death and destruction, you would pick the Nordschleife and then Bathurst. They would be the two on your mind. And here we go on a nice fast track, qualifying at 2 p.m. Sun is shining as cars come up for their formation lap. Now we've had some developments since last race. It's been a two-horse race most of the season between Levi Warner and Will Freeman, both in the Mustangs this season. Have been separated by tiny margins for a majority of the season, but after a call a shaky round from Will Freeman last week, finishing 13th, and it's the first time all season he's finished out of the top two. That has handed a sizable gap to Levi Warner, who has found an incredible vein of form, has won 3 of the last 4 and finished P2 in the last round, and with that P13 from Freeman has built a gap. Levi Warner currently sitting on 142 points, Will Freeman now sitting on 126, leaving the rest in their dust. Bayer, after a big win at the Wet Nord Nürburgring last week, sits in P3 in the championship standings, 71 points considering he missed the first 2 races. Not too shabby indeed. Niels Baslia will be looking to put a strong performance in today on a track that he does very much enjoy. He's going to be looking for that P3 in the championship. So a few new entries today. We have, I believe, Panabianco in that Mercedes. Now he's a driver that has driven here at Fats before. I believe he took part in our multi-class series, either that or the GT4 series. Very quick driver indeed. We've had Hamoki, who has done a majority of the season in the 444, has switched from the Lamborghini to the Mercedes, which is strong around here, but that Joker car, that change of car, will limit him to having to stay in the pits during qualifying, will not be able to put a qualifying time, and that goes also for Patrick Ligier in the number 9 Aston Martin there. Switch of a car from the Audi will also have to sit out on qualifying and start from the back, which around this track is not really where you want to be. It's very easy to get caught up coming down that mountain. You can also see you'll see yellow flags all day today, I imagine. We have managed to escape some serious pile-ups this season. It's been fairly clean all around, one of the cleanest seasons considering we've had the largest grids we've ever had. But something is giving me a bad feeling today, but we'll hope all the drivers can keep it clean and safe. If practice is anything to go on, now it's very interesting here. Qualifying is at 2 p.m. on the Saturday. Now free practice has been at 6 a.m. and the race will also be at 6 a.m. and the track has been struggling to get out of green conditions. Not much grip there, so let's hope the drivers don't get a false sense of security whilst they're driving around qualifying now thinking the track's going to be perfect, because as soon as the race starts they're going to know that it's not optimal at all. So what's ones to watch out for today? I think we saw Matt Williams in practice there, put it on P2 in the Lexus. Now Bathurst, a very straight heavy track. If you can get through the mountains safely, it will open up on those 2 straights. Will zip past cars, no doubt. And then we've also had a Kay Walker, who I think is his debut today in that McLaren, has looked quick in practice. I have been in the server over the week and seen his name, and those times are nothing to shake a bat at. That's not even a saying. But yeah, very quick indeed. So I have to watch out for Kay Walker on his debut. I think anyone else new today? I think Pryor was here before. New-ish to Fats GT. Tim Bleach makes a return after sitting out a few races in that Porsche. Definitely a handful around here. But ones to watch out for in this quali, obviously you've got Levi Warner. We'll be looking to extend the gap onto Will Freeman. Next week we're at Spa for a 90-minute race where double points are on offer. So just in case he doesn't get his way at Spa, Levi Warner will be looking to extend the gap on Will Freeman once more. So Panabianco in that Mercedes goes quickest straight away, and that lays down the statement that he will be one man to catch. Levi Warner just under 2 tenths off, then Baslia 8 tenths off, so definitely time to final round already. It's usually in these short qualifying sessions where the last lap is the quickest. As all the rubber gets laid on track, the track becomes faster and faster and faster. Let's have a little look out there on track and see what we're dealing with. See where M. Williams is. Did look rapid in practice. I think yet to put in a lap. There he is now. Just coming across the line to start. So 2014, that does straight on the pole there for M. Williams. Will be looking to improve. So that's what we were talking about earlier. That Lexus, no slouch around here if you can conquer the mountain in it. Tim Bleach just finding a bit of traffic. That's going to be McReynolds. So hope he stays patient. Don't want any power laps in quali. Bit of a moment for Jimenez in the background, that BMW. Hello, Sander. Hope you are well. So here's Walker. As he looks to come and set a valid lap. Now, he did, in practice, take pole, if that was a qualifying session, by about a tenth and a half from M. Williams. So we're going to stay on board with Kyle. I don't know why I'm calling him Kyle. K. Walker, to see what he can do. Track is optimal. Plants the car into the camber on the right hand side. Gets on the power early, up round over the curb. That was a crucial double left-hander coming up. Stay tight and fast. Looks to have nailed it. Flat out, up the hill. Now some cars in quali opt to touch the barrier on the right just there. You don't lose too much time, but you can stay flat out. Obviously not safe to do that in the race and carry that damage. Down the hill he goes. So far a tidy lap for Walker as he looks to take that pole off of M. Williams. So just 2 more corners to go and we'll see where he shapes up on the grid. So if you are new here, it is one mandatory stop. That is for fuel. You do not have to change tyres, but in these 60 minutes races it is recommended. A stop for just fuel will take 25 seconds if you choose to change tyres as well. That is an extra 5 seconds, taking it up to 30. So that is a 2:01, pretty much flat for Walker, and will take that pole off of M. Williams. And Williams sits in the pits. It'll probably come out again. Usually around Bathurst I find it takes about 2 laps due to the straights to get your tyres up to those perfect pressures. Will Freeman currently sits in P3. Let's see where Warner is. Warner currently P5. So oh no, yeah, P5 for Warner. So Freeman doing what he needs to do to close this gap. Obviously, we do also offer a 0.4 fastest lap here at Bathurst, and we know how consistent Freeman usually is, like clockwork. Obviously, last week, as I say that, he does find the barrier. That'll be back to the pit lane, straight back out, probably just to find a few more temps. But yeah, every race now absolutely crucial in terms of that championship. Has been one of the greatest battles we've seen so far in Fats GT, as we are now over halfway through season 9. See who is improving. That's Basilia, currently 3 temps up as he starts his ascent up the mountain. So break him comfortably into the 201s. Still gaining. So half a second up as he starts the descent down through Skyline. so close to the wall there. He probably couldn't fit a piece of paper between that Ferrari and the wall, using every millimetre of track. Two more corners to go for Basilier. Well, three more, now two more. Loses a bit of time. So drops about 2 tenths there. Won't be happy seeing that relative come down. There was definitely more in there for Basilier as he tries to fight towards the front row. No movement on his qualifying position, but he actually drops down at 2P7. Someone behind him moving up. I believe that's Spencer Brown. I've pressed the wrong button, and I think it's Spencer Brown has just moved up into P3. Yes, he has. Just pipping Will Freeman out there now. As Williams has got back out on track as well, M. Williams, to find the extra time. And Panabianco has broken into the 2 minutes. 38 thousandths of a second separating P1 and P2 right now. The two debutants. Alexander Vesterger is also broken up to P8. They'd be happy with that. Big disparity in time between P7 and P8, with Basilier to find more as well. But Vesterger will be happy to be the best of the rest. He's been hunted down by Berger 3 times behind him. And you have Smith in P10, long-time driver here at Fats GT. I believe Velocity driver, if he is still with Velocity. Now we see Kamenez in that BMW. He is struggling around here. So let's check back in and see if we can find M. Williams to see if he's got a reply. No improvement for Warner as he heads down the mountain. And there will be no reply from Williams this lap as he's getting chased down by that Porsche, but he's not going to be able to get past that Lexus. So I think Williams will have 2 more stabs at this to find that front row. Yeah, he will have 2 more laps. Tim Bleach up into P12. And huge improvement for Berger in the 585 Porsche. Currently almost 7 tenths up. See where this puts him. Very important to carry your momentum up and round that left-hander, and he's done that beautifully. 8.5 tenths up now. Just 1 more corner to go. It's Murray's corner. Just losing a fair bit of time, about 2.5 tenths losing on the exit, but he's up to P8. See if we can check back in. Now, this could be a monstrous lap from Walker. The rubber really coming into effect now. That has been laid down on the track. I told you the last laps will be the quickest. It is how it goes in these short qualifying times. So let's see. He was almost 3 tenths up into Murray's corner. This should put him into P1, and it does. So now it's up to Panabianco to find a reply. Let's check back in. Panabianco will call it a day. Maybe thought that time was untouchable, but Walker has taken it away from him. Basilier is found half a second coming down the hill, but I want to check in with Freeman. Spencer Brown calls it a day. I want to check in with Freeman and Warner. So Warner is going to improve also, but it's not a huge gain. It won't be as much as he would like. Freeman's 8 seconds up the road, you see there on the relative, so Freeman is also improving about the same amount as what Warner is this lap. It's just minimal margins. He does get a wonderful exit through the chase. This could even bump Freeman up back to take P4. And he does. Freeman will take P4 with that. No more time for any more laps. See if Warner improves, also improves. But that's only P7. It's only enough for P7 for Levi Warner. So lots of work to do. That Mustang, obviously here at Fatch, we do have a restrictor on that Mustang just to try and level the playing field a bit. We do feel it's overpowered. So as well as Bop, it will have a 20% restrictor on it, as we see a lot of leagues over on PC, mainly LFM, introducing that limiter. Now this could be a big lap for Barlow, currently sitting in P28. Needs to find this time. Will not find it, and this might compromise McConnell behind him. It will compromise McConnell. McConnell won't be happy about that. Barlow invalidated and did not get out of the way. And now he's got Williams coming down the hill. Now this Williams is up. Will that affect him? I tell you what, fair play to Williams. He has not lost time, even with that veil of death in front of him. So this could be a big lap. Will this be enough to take pole, or at least the front row? That was wild that he stayed out of trouble there. What could be a crucial moment in this qualifying. Nails the chase just down into Murray's corner. That's all that's left and separates him from potential glory here. Almost 5 tenths gained, and he will steal P1 on the last lap. Wonderful, wonderful driving there by M. Williams to take that pole. Had to get it done, and he does it by a comfortable 2 tenths. So have Emma Williams taking P1. And Walker on debut will take P2, followed by Panabianco. Friedman will pip Levi Warner by 3 positions. He will take P4. Spencer Brown with a great lap to take P5. Basilier will take P6, just getting beaten to that P5 by Spencer Brown. Warner has some work to do if he wants to protect this championship lead. Eric takes P8. Eric, the most unfortunate driver I have ever seen in a series at Fatch. Just trouble seems to find him, and it's not all necessarily his fault. Just very unlucky. Tim Bleach makes it in at P9. S. Berger takes P10. Versterger takes P11, followed by Smith, Hatton, McConnell, and Ken Thomas in 15th. He'll be chased down by Ramsel, Riches, Jimenez, De Guel, and Liob in P20. Now making up the rest, that'll be Matt Colmos, McReynolds, Duda, Brush, Els, Pryor, Barlow, and you have Hamoki and Ligier, both ineligible for qualifying due to swapping their cars. So this is where I start getting nervous. Yeah, what a lap indeed to pick that out at the end, especially with the carnage coming off of the mountain and down the straight. That really could have ruined that lap, but to take it on that final lap, absolutely wonderful driving there by M. Williams. Now these 60-minute races, they're not your usual sprints. There is some thought to be had. You're not going to win the race on lap 1, but you can certainly lose it. So let's hope everyone keeps it clean for the start. No major dramas this season. I hope to keep it that way. We're going to take a short break whilst we wait for our cars to line up on the grid. So here we go. track says optimum. I wonder if that's going to change. It is 6 a.m. now. The track will be cold. If it stays optimum, I will be amazed. 17 degrees. So let's hope the drivers remember to make the necessary changes to their PSIs before we get underway here. Now, Ed Williams will be thrilled with that lap. Message from Bleach there. I think that's fastest Porsche. He's happy with that. Yep, great lap. Let's try and get through lap 1 without any major incidents here. Oh, I get so nervous at Bathurst. Matt M. Williams saying that he was not going to lift through that until he saw God on the checkered flag. He did thankfully see the checkered flag and take that fastest lap. That will be one of the laps of the season. Let's hope he can make it stick. Should be safe if he gets a good turn 1 from that McLaren. It should have the legs to get to the ascent of the mountain first. But the big story is the battle currently ongoing between Will Friedman and Levi Warner. Warner not quite finding the time he needed, and will have 2 cars, 2 Ferraris in front of him. That is fellow Fats drivers Spencer Brown and Neil Baslia. So we could be in for another brilliant race. Very interested to see what the 2 new debutants in Walker and Panabieka can do as well. I'm amazed the track is optimum. Absolutely amazed in such conditions. Spencer Brown says £5 I crash. I will take those odds. That is about 2 Freddos and a Kit Kat. It is great to see new names joining our ranks. I mean, people say ACC's dying, but I beg to differ. 30-car grid at Allen Bathurst. Now, a lot of drivers choose not to show up at Bathurst. I think it's they get a bit scared, but to see 30 cars around here is a sight indeed. 30 seconds and the cars will come out for their formation lap.
20 seconds.
Here we go then, Williams is going to lead the drivers out. I'm not sure if that's a space on the grid there, if someone's timed out just behind Friedman there in the background. I could be wrong. Is that someone missing? Now you think here at Bathurst that the most dangerous part of the track on this lap 1 is usually anywhere in the mountain, but it's not rare that you can see multiple cars crashing out into turn 1. Obviously the curb on the right can slingshot cars back across, or you'll have cars dive down on the inside. So I've seen it once or twice in my time on the game. Again, if you are new, 1 mandatory stop. You can serve that whenever you like. For fuel, 25 seconds that will take to change tyres. It is 30 seconds. I do recommend it though. An aggressive warming of the tyres there from Evan Williams as he leads the cars up the hill. We're looking at about 28, 29 laps of Bathurst to come. Let's hope everyone's got a spare change of underwear at home. And a good therapist, because they might need one after this. So I'm getting confirmation that Niels Baslia, who has been putting in some great drives and is desperate for that P3 in the championship, the drive button bugged, which means he'll have to start from the pit lane. Now that is horrendous around here, to be stuck behind all those cars up the mountain. So that is a bug. It's rare, but it does happen. You cannot click drive, and then if you don't click drive by the time of the counter, the the time the counter hits a 0, you will get teleported to the pits and be stuck with a pit lane start. He'll be fuming, but has 60 minutes to make it up. And around here at Bathurst, where death is common as a cold, there could be a lot of positions to gain. So it's not over yet for Baslia if he wants to make a dent. Obviously the guy he's chasing, 4P3 buyer, is not here today, so we just need to get his head down and focus on getting past these cars. So we do have a late arrival, and it is Boschian in that 100 Ford. See him there in the pit lane. So 3 cars starting from the pit lane. I think Leisure didn't have to start from the pit lane, but has opted to do that. Maybe thinks it's safer. He has some PTSD of past races. See that Ligier and the cat urine coloured Mustang of Boschian in the background. Baslia will probably be up just in front of them, waiting to come out of the pits. If you are watching and you haven't, please leave a follow. It does help. Helps us get noticed and boosted up on the algorithms. Up through the chase does M. Williams go, and he'll have to do his best to keep Carl Walker from throwing it around the outside turn 1. Does have the advantage of that Lexus top end though, and even with max wing it probably will have the legs to stay in front. I always get nervous at these moments, so Williams will go around the final corner of the warm-up lap. We will be underway.
Green light, go, go, go.
And we are green here for round 7 of Fats GT's GT3 season. Williams squeezes Walker on the right just to make that space and get that easier turn 1, but then he goes off wide onto the curb, but does keep it. Lots of contact there round turn 1, but no big spins. Walker somehow got the drive. Obviously the grass just not aiding. More contact there. Williams squeezing and squeezing. That's rough there. Rough defending there. Walker will be fighting to stay in this fight now. Does drop many positions though. I think that's going to put him down to about 6th place. Williams will be able to get away. A lot of elbows being thrown out there. We do have some cars quite far back, but I think that's the pit lane starters. Otherwise, fairly clean right now. Leash has made a position up to P8. He's now chasing down Eric. There he is there. There's Leash. We do have a car off there. Is that Walker again? It might be Walker again. Don't see any yellow flags yet. Oh, I think there's a bit of a traffic jam ahead. It's still pretty clean. Let's check in with the leaders. So Walker has held on to P6. And Warner has got past. So Warner up into P5 now. Just Spencer Brown is separating him from his season rival. Bianco is going to be chasing down M. Williams, and Wolf Friedman will be just behind him. We have a car coming into the pits already. Might be Hamoki, maybe trying to get out of the traffic. He's going to do a 55-minute stint, potentially. Just to get out of the traffic and get some clean air. It's not a bad idea, considering he started from the pit lane, you know. Otherwise, it's a fairly clean start. It was a bit of argy-bargy between the leaders. The first few corners, a bit of squeezing. As you see, Warner and Walker really starting to put some pressure on Spencer Brown now. You know, Walker's got some hefty pace around here. Probably shouldn't be in P6 after that start. Bit squiggly there for Spencer Brown on the left-handers, but keeps the car true. Walker getting very close to the rear of Warner. See how Baslia has got on up to P26 for Baslia. There he is. That's a scary sight coming down Skyline. I wonder if he's seen Hamoki go in and is wondering if that will be the method he should take as well. Maybe just go long for 56 minutes. You've got the pace on the majority of the field. Because they'll be losing buckets of time here. Might be worth thinking about that early pit, but I know that Ferrari setup he's got on seems to fly down this mountain. The overtakes are there. Car off on the inside. I think Baslia will take 2 for the price of 1. Wonderful move there by Baslia. Someone just missing out coming down the hill. I'm trying to see who that is. It's the number 7. So that's Barlow. Maybe a bit of grass touched, a little bit of contact maybe. Warner will continue to chase Spencer Brown. He's lost a bit of time somewhere. As Friedman, Panabianco and Williams have pulled away from this pack. We're on Friedman now. Let's go on board. It's a crazy view that, isn't it? Racing so close up the mountain. Big slide there from Panabianco, but Friedman reacts well to stay out of the rear end. This is going to allow Williams a little bit more breathing room. Obviously, if the Lexus is going to struggle today, it's going to be on this section. You can see them make ground up to him coming down the hill. Very impressed. Friedman kept it out the rear of Panabianco there. Could have been a lot worse. We have a car around on the left. I think that is Eric. That is Eric. Not sure what's happened there. That's a scary place to be turned around. I think he's back underway. There's another car off up the road as well. And they're back underway. I think that's Ken Thomas has had some sort of issue. He's back down into P27. Oh, and there's contact between Walker. Oh, that's dangerous. Oh, huge contact there. That's going to be a good night for Walker. That's a shame, that. A real big shame. I'm not sure. I think that might have been Belish involved, maybe one of the Porsches. Huge collision. I think that's going to be all she wrote from Walker. That was rough. Trying to find out where Bleach is. Just to see if his car is marked up. I think it was Bleach. I'm not too sure. Well, Bathurst is famous for it. Meanwhile, Freeman's still putting the pressure on Panabianco. Panabianco really struggling down the hill. Freeman's going to try and stay as close as possible. Coming out of the mountain section. Mustang might have what it takes to overtake, but again, we have limited the Mustang's power just to bring it into contention with other cars. Freeman's going to attempt to make the move now. Side by side. This is a scary place to go side by side. I feel like Panabianco just shut the door there when Freeman had his nose in. I don't think that was Freeman's fault. Just came across him. He's going to let him... Is he going to let him go, though? Or is he... Yeah, he's going to let him go. So maybe Freeman, different perspective than I had on that incident. I do feel badly for Walker. Such a good qualifying. Sturgeon, meanwhile, is finding himself all the way up into P6. After all the argy-bargy around him has profited. Hatton up into P7, Berger up into P8, Smith up into P9, so lots of drama. I think that's... and lots of cars coming into the pits with damage. That's Bleach again. Warner has closed the gap again with Spencer Brown, and after Freeman gave the position back to Panabianco, it has allowed them to catch back up. Now Spencer Brown seems to be getting more comfortable with the drive of the car, the setup and the conditions, and is picking up the pace. Huge gap to Versterger behind, so right now we have really, it could be a five-way fight. Williams probably, though, yeah, pulling out the gap. 4.6 seconds up the road from P2. Basilea, meanwhile, has moved up into P18, so is making ground. You can see that Ferrari staying on the back of that Mustang down the hill. It's not something you see every day. Lots of cars in the pit now. The pit with hefty repairs, you would imagine. It's Bleach and Ramsell. This Bleach has done a full pit stop. That is a full refuel, and his pit stop is mandatory served. Probably just fixing up any damage as well. That is Eric off again. I think there was maybe a coming together with Ligier. Ligier was a yellow flag up the road too. Can't catch a break, that man. More damage on the front of Pryor's McLaren there also. Be a busy week for the stewards. Now, something we have seen throughout the season is the Lexus may have some very strong traits, such as the top end, but we have seen its tyres drop off dramatically at times through certain races. So whilst Williams has got this clean air, we'll need to maximise it and not put a foot wrong to build the gap to the two behind him. Freeman working hard to close that gap in once more. Spencer Brown is still there behind with Warner still chasing. Well, let's check in elsewhere. Many more fights. De Grauw is being hounded. Jimenez will be happy with this up into P13. We've seen him struggle in practice and qualifying, but so far he's keeping that BMW firmly planted on track and is up into the top 13. I think this could be his first point scoring if he keeps this up. Well, Ramsel into the wall again, followed by Ken Thomas and Versterger up the hill. Lots of cars struggling here today. It is one of those tracks. Neil Bastley is now up to P16s. He tries to get a move done on McReynolds. Big skid there for McReynolds up into the wall, and that would be a free pass for Bastley up. Just putting the pressure on. So, as much as Bastley will be happy with this development, I think it's 15 seconds up the road, maybe 10. The relative obviously climbing down a bit out of sync, but about 10 seconds up the road is McConnell. Bastley will have a lot of clean air now. I'm sure within about 3 laps he probably would have closed that down and will have another attempt to better his position. Now Warner has got past Spencer Brown. I've missed what's happened there. That could be, I wonder if that's damage for Spencer Brown or he was offered the pass. So 2:01.7 for Warner there. Let's see who's got fastest lap at the moment. It's going to be M. Williams with a 2-minute 0.7. And is extending the gap up front as Friedman has closed the gap to Panabianco. Don't really know where to look. There's action everywhere. Now blue flags are also coming into play after the incidents. See, Mario Ruches there has made a move up into P9. De Grauw following him, and Jimenez up to P11 now. And Versterger is starting to find himself in his own little clean area of the track just to get some laps in. Bosh those times out. I'm just going to have a look at Spencer Brown's car and just see if there is any signs of damage. Doesn't look like it. I wonder if he's had a moment coming down the hill. One or two things has probably happened there. Either he's let Warner pass, he is a teammate and knows he is fighting for a championship, or he's had a little moment down the hill. That car looks okay. So Warner now 2.5 seconds is the gap to Friedman ahead of him. So far Friedman may be beating him, but the damage to that point gap not going to be too bad if Warner was to stay in this position. Doesn't have to do anything too desperate, just has to finish close to Friedman to maintain that lead in the championship. Meanwhile, Friedman's going to try and fight his way past Panabianco. There he is. We go on board again, coming down the hill. did see Panabianco have a few issues with the rear end of that car as Friedman got closer and closer. Maybe the pressure started to get to him, so Friedman will be looking to get into that range again and pile that pressure on. So how much later that Mustang is on the brakes, how smooth he is up around the chase, and he is right in range again. Going to show him the nose, start applying the pressure. More cars in the pits then coming, falling victim to Bathurst. Friedman really picking up the pace, and I think that's not too far off fastest lap that time around. Oh, that's a big off in the background. Is that Spencer Brown? I think that was Spencer Brown. Maybe caught the curb there. Yeah, and that's huge damage on the front end. I didn't see any cars around him. I think that was self-inflicted there by Spencer Brown, unfortunately. Now we have Pryor off down Skyline. So Bathurst is really taking scalps here today. The most difficult track on the calendar. This is going to move Verstappen up into 5th for what would be his best result of the season. Only 20 minutes gone, and it feels like you could already write a book about what's happened here today. While Baslia is going to be profiting on this, will be looking to make up as many positions, is chasing 3rd in the championship. Now obviously after that drive bug earlier, did have to start from the pit lane, but is making up some great times. De Grauw's only 4 seconds up the road and his car looks pristine. That is Matt. Now I can confirm Matt was disconnected from the server on race start, so that is unfortunate for Matt. Friedman has extended the gap from Warner, so it might be out of reach here today. While Smith finds himself into P7, he'll be happy with this drive so far. Hatton's just 1.7 up the road. Now we have Liub and Ligier. Sorry, that's Liub and McConnell. Liub in that Mustang at the front, McConnell in the Ferrari 296 just behind, starting to put up pressure. And Jimenez will be thrilled of how his race is going. Again, looking for his first points scoring of the season. Now our points are only awarded to the top 15. This is an oversight on our behalf. We did raise the driver count to 40 this season, and they were swallowed up very quickly. So next season we will be reformatting our points system to allow more drivers to score. Bit wide there for Rutschers, and that's going to compromise his drive up the hill where the BMW is very strong. Looks like Rutschers may well hold on. There is a yellow flag up ahead of them. I think it's Pryor in the 910 McLaren. There he is in the wall. I believe Hatton in that Nissan is catching Verstappen. We see Verstappen just heading down the mountain there. It looks like Hatton is starting to pull on him. And Smith is following through as well. So we could have a 3-way fight for P5 if things keep going like this. Let's check back in with Baslia as he chases De Grauw. Just a second. No, De Grauw is not an easy driver to pass. There he is in that horrendously pink Ferrari controller player, I believe. One of the few we have here. So it looks like Baslia getting the move done on De Guel out of turn 1. And now he'll be free to chase Jimenez and Ruches up ahead, who are only 4 seconds up the road. So Bastia could be looking at a very strong finish here despite everything. Bit of a slide there for Ruches as he heads into the uphill left. Jimenez chasing him down all the while. Very impressive Jimenez here. Saw him struggle so much in practice, but is laying it down. Leaving it all out there on track today. Spencer Brown has fallen down to P17th. But he has... okay. Spencer Brown has served this mandatory pit. Refixed his car. Fresh as a daisy. He did say £5 here crash. And I've missed it, but Friedman... And this will put the Willies up Warner a little bit. Friedman has passed Panabianco. And will now look to be clear to drive away. As we see there, that XCL famous purple livery is now ahead of that Mercedes. But the Mustang will not have the power it usually has on these straights. So it'll be interesting to see what that Merc can do. Warner has about 3.5, 4 seconds to make up on these guys. You see Warner in the background there in that black and orange Mustang. Freeman will be wanting to really open up this gap now, make it more difficult for Warner to catch. Will not want to fight. And we'll be praying that Panabianco, a little brush of the wall then, fine margins from Panabianco. Loses some speed, that's going to allow Freeman to pull away a bit. Big slide on the curb there for Freeman. Really on the limit. Meanwhile, M. Williams having a pleasant Monday drive, 8 seconds up the road. These are the moments that can define a championship. These extra points found and lost. And Baslia has now joined the fight between Jimenez and Ruches. Jimenez just dropping off the back of Ruches a little bit of dirty air. A killer round here. We're going to start seeing, for those that haven't stuck it in a wall or be involved in issues, we're going to start seeing the pits come in. A lot of people do tend to go 50-50 splits around here on fuel. And Bathurst doesn't have the easiest pit lane. Baslia now really close to that BMW and flies past it. Now, the setup that Baslia is using, it's a setup that we've used as a team for Fats GT around Bathurst before. It's the only time, I don't know why it happens, but it's the only time I've seen a Ferrari fly past a Mustang on the straight. That thing coming down off of the mountain is rapid. Not so great on the first straight, but coming down the hill, it flies. So Baslia will be enjoying that for these ever pivotal overtakes. Now he has Ruches to get past. Spencer Brown with a lot of work to do. P16 currently for him, but will jump a fair few cars that are yet to pit ahead of him. So let's see what the gaps are ahead. Jimenez comes in, so no reason Spencer Brown can't get maybe into the top 10 after the pits. Baslia still follows around his friend Mario Ruches up for the mountain. A yellow flag ahead of them in Skyline. That might be Ljub in that 888 Mustang. It is Ljub, but he is underway again. Meanwhile, Freeman may have got past Panabianco, but he's not going anywhere. So a cheeky undercut by Panabianco here. I could see him take this position back off of Freeman. Warner is struggling to keep on at them. And there is the leader, M. Williams, 8.4 seconds up the road. Flawless drive right now, one of the laps of the season in qualifying to take that pole. While Versterger, who is sitting in net P5, who is being chased down by this man here, Hatton, and the man behind him, Smith, has built the gap back again. So Versterger, if he keeps it safe and true, could be looking at a P5 finish, his best result of the season, I believe. And Baslia has, oh, that's Brown and Bruce, so Brown up to P13 now. Still cars to pit ahead of him. Let's check back in with Baslia, who has gotten past Richards. As the halfway point of the race, I can see quite a lot of pit stops flying in now. Bathurst again, a tricky pit stop. S-bend into the pit and a sudden stop. So Baslia has a lot of work to do. He's going to catch P7. And that will be net P8 into net P7. You see the red glow starting to form on the track from the sunrise. Yeah, 16.5 seconds. Baslia needs to find in the next 30 minutes. That's no easy task, but if he finds it, there could be 3 more positions potentially up for grabs ahead of him. And that is M. Williams. So the leader pits, goes for the 50-50 split. I think that's wise in that Lexus, the tyre eater. So currently that'll be Friedman, Panabianco and Warner leading the way. Let's see where Williams comes out on track. If he gets into traffic, this could be this could make things a bit more interesting towards the end of the race. So Williams comes out behind Baslia. Now it's going to be interesting to see what Baslia does here. Is he going to make it difficult for Williams? He doesn't really have the need to. May just let him pass when the time is right and get on with his laps. He needs to find every 10th at the minute, Baslia. And as Matt has to take the off route, did not fancy that on the colder tyres. That could have been very sketchy, but keeps it safe. Let's see. I was going to say Panabianco's jumped Friedman, but Friedman has opted to pit. I think Warner has followed him in as well. Though I do not see Warner on track. Did he come in the lap before? Let's check. Warner is still out on a track. So that'll be Warner up into P2. Still yet to serve the pit. There he is. I was hoping that wasn't some horrible disconnect there. So Bathurst, a great equaliser here. We are seeing a lot of cars that aren't usually up in those dizzying heights in at the run-in for big points today. And Jimenez, even after serving his pit, is still hanging on to P13. He will be thrilled if he can get through to the end of this race. This could be one of the performances of the season. Oh, it looks like Friedman's made a bit of time up there in the pit stop to Williams. It was about 8 seconds before. The relative's showing about 5.7 now, unless Williams has been tapping a few walls and just had to fix a bit of damage. But 5.6 seconds now, so a good pit stop from Will Friedman. Which means Warner will need a good one as well if he wants any chance to get past him. Ken Thomas looking to close down on Muck Reynolds for P18. Muck Reynolds in his very pink and white strawberry yogurt Ferrari 296, the 88 Ferrari. Basilier still under pressure from Williams. It'd be very interesting to see what he does on the straight here, if he makes it easy or tries to fight it. Again, Basilier still to pit. And Williams will be eager to get past him. We can see the gap behind him has shrunk. And Williams makes his intentions known. And Basilier does not fight. And goes long. We've seen this a few times over the course of the season now from Basilier. Chooses to go long and really cane the rubber in the last stint. We do have a yellow flag, so that is just a man in the pits. I'm trying to figure out who that is. Too short. So 7 fatalities so far here at Bathurst. Sander Versterger comes in to serve his mandatory. Smith has also followed in. And there is Mario Rutschers. So we'll see where Spencer Brown will be in the standings. Once if he passes anyone in the pit lane, it'll be close for a few of them, I think. So it looks like he might get Mario Rutschers. Rutschers still not underway yet. So it's going to be up to the top 10 for Spencer Brown. After that spin on that curb you see him on now. 16 seconds to find on Hatton. It's not out of the question. And Panabianco is jumping into the pits. Warner still going long on those Mustang tyres. And after those pit stops, Smith has closed the gap on Versterger by another second. I think he's jumped Hatton though. I believe Hatton was in front of Smith, so that's a good pit stop for Smith in that 117 Ford. Now let's see if Friedman maintains the lead on Panabianco. So he comes around Murray's corner. You can see on that radar top left, Panabianco just exiting the pit now. He's going to jump Friedman. It's a great pit stop from Panabianco. Gets the move done off of the track. I think Friedman will be scratching his head at that, wondering how that's happened. .2 the gap from Williams to Panabianco. So this could get a bit heated towards the end if Williams has a few little wiggles. Any pesky blue flags do get in the way. It's a good drive from Ligier. Has found himself into P14. I think it's going to be about net P13. After starting from the back of the grid. Oh, and then we see it. I think that is S. Brown in the pit lane again. I think that might be all she wrote for Spencer Brown. There he is. Alright, he called it. Spencer, if you are there, can we get an update as to what has happened? That's Levi Warner now coming in. So, an error with tyre pressures on Spencer Brown's stop has led to incident and inevitable death. So Williams will go round now past Warner to take his net P1 back. And there will go Panabianco and Friedman. Warner still stationary as he drops now. Just outpost Bruce off the pits. He said no thank you, I want that track position. So pretty much everyone now in the top 10 apart from DeGraw pitting. DeGraw does usually go incredibly long, so it'll be back order restored. It's M. Williams P1, Panabianco P2, but Friedman there, you see him behind fighting him. He wants that position back. He wants those points on Warner, which could be pivotal. Next week it's Spa 90 minutes and double points. Every point matters at this point, so how many times can you say point in a sentence? Sander Versterger will be net P5, followed by Smith, Hatton, Baslier and Rutschers. I want to get in on this action with Friedman and Panabianco. Almost contact with both the left side wall and the right side wall there for Panabianco. You see when Friedman gets close, the panic just start to kick in. Now the Mustang is pulling down the mountain on the straight on Panabianco. Side by side. Into the little kink. Gets the move done again. This is where he went for it last time. Now Panabianco looks for the outside. Could there be a late dive here? Panabianco will not have enough room. Thinks better of it. So that's a position gained again for Friedman. Now the exit out of turn 1 crucial to keep that Mercedes behind him. And looks to have a nice safe turn 1. So job done again for Friedman. Warner will be out of this fight with these two. We did see Friedman get past Panabianco last time, but Panabianco didn't go anywhere quick. Stayed right with him. Williams does hold on to the fastest lap. Friedman's about a tenth off of him on that fastest lap attempt. But he may need slipstream to get it, which won't be on offer anymore. I see Leisure there, P12 now. Belish up into P13. And we have Ken Thomas has caught the back of the Strawberry Yogurt McReynolds. The damage on the front end of that McLaren, maybe he opted not to fix it. Very close coming down the hill. See what that McLaren can do on the straight, but I wonder if that front end damage on Canton. Now that's an issue for Jimenez. Now he's had a solid race all race. I've been singing his praises, but we saw him there with some hefty front end damage. Just had to last another 20 minutes, but could that see him out of the points? You can see that the time he's losing on the straight now. He'll be gutted with that steering damage too by the looks of it. So that'll be Thomas and McReynolds pushing past him up into P16 and 15 respectively. That's very unfortunate for Jimenez. Now Eric will be trying to catch down Mario Riches to break into the top 10. Eric been quick all season, just plagued by misfortune. A bit of a contact with the wall on the exit there. I want to check in with Niels Basliat. He had 16 seconds to pull on the cars ahead. De Guel is pitting, so that should be another position for Basliat. So after starting from the pit lane, 30 cars on the grid, has found his way up into P8. And we will not have a time to get to Hatton and Smith, 14 seconds up the road, but I think he'd be happy with that comeback. And the connection full brush into the wall. And Versterger has managed to comfortably find his pocket in the middle of no man's land in P5. He'll be very happy with proceedings today. Big points for Sander Versterger. And Friedman pulling the gap in P2. Now he'll be hunting down that fastest lap now. That point could be pivotal. Only a tenth and a half off of that fastest lap. He's currently lapping identical times to P1. Let's try to find some fights on track. So we have Ken Thomas still trying to get past McReynolds here. G. Brush isn't too far behind him, and then they've got Sander Versterger who'll be looking to dispatch these two. It won't be too desperate. He's in a nice pocket of space. Tell you what, I'm not even driving and I'm exhausted. Bathurst always brings the carnage. This has been the wildest race of the season in terms of spectacular crashes and incidents. Otherwise pretty clean season. As we see Ken Thomas look to try and make the move. He's going to be on the outside, but it's hard to get round that right-hander without the camber on the inside. As Ken does let Versterger through very graciously. Eric has managed to get round Mario Riches up into P9. That'll probably be as much as he can hope for today. And Panabianca, who has had a great race and a great battle with Friedman, just failing to find the pace to keep up now. So that would, you imagine, be the top three, unless there's any drama nailed in. Reynolds has also let Versterger through on the mountain, no less. That's very brave to do, and Ken Thomas will be looking to try and get that pass done, but Brush is now brought into the picture behind him. There's Brush at the back of that three. I would imagine that Thomas is probably running max wing on that McLaren by the looks of it. Otherwise, should be an easier job to get past on those straights. You can see how much distance he's closing on the corners, but By the time he gets to the most weavy section of the track, it's a part of the track you cannot pass on. So you do see often that some of the top... Oh, big moment there for Ken Thomas. I almost pooped my pants, but manages to save it. Well done, but that's going to bring Bruce in behind. So a three-way fight here for P15. Ken Thomas doing ever so well to save that McLaren from veering off to the left. And we saw Spencer Brown have the same issue earlier. And Bruce is going to take the inside. Reynolds again very close to the wall. See Reynolds just struggling with the rear end a little bit. Might want to turn that TC up a bump or two. Now this is very close to be fighting through the mountain. Yeah, reactions like a cat. Bruce getting so close to McReynolds coming down Skyline. A little bit of a moment there for Thomas behind. It's going to let Bruce and McReynolds push away, but Bruce really hunting down McReynolds now. Has the slipstream, both in equal machinery. Riding the curb a little bit up through the chase. McReynolds will stay safe for another lap. Now Baslia has brought that gap down by 6 seconds since we were last aboard with him to Hatton. There's something we'll have to watch. I don't think he's got enough time, but if Hatton has a little slip up, Baslia could be right in here for P7. I think he started P5 or something like that. So starting from the pit lane and almost getting back to where you qualified is quite an achievement. A 2:01.4, nothing to laugh at. Now look at this traffic coming out of turn 1, going up the hill. It's Bruce and McReynolds still going at it, but there's Smith now in the Mustang. We want these cars ahead to yield as Hatton is chasing him down behind. But this could help Baslia. Traffic on the mountain. And Smith going past is going to compromise McReynolds. Bruce is going to be on the outside, but there's going to be no grip on the left. Is Bruce going to get this move done? That is insane. McReynolds gets compromised by Smith, and Bruce goes round the outside up the hill and takes the position. That's one of the overtakes of the day in my book. So G. Bruce really showing his worth here today, up into P15, and we'll be looking to get away. Had the balls not to bail out of that one, and it paid off. Fair play to that 3-2-3. Meanwhile, I think that's Ligier has made the move on Jensen De Gale for P11. You can see the pace of the top 4, 30-second gap. Now, if I'm not mistaken, something has happened to Panabianco because Warner is now in P3. Now, this is huge in context of the championship. Absolutely huge. Friedman now sitting just under 20 points behind Warner for the championship lead. Needed Warner to stay in P4 just to salvage as many points from him as he could. Now, Panabianco was holding that P3 position. Just want to go find his car to see if there's been damage, if there's been an issue. There's Panabianco. Warner has got through. That is front end damage on that Mercedes, so maybe an issue there. And that's allowed Warner through. Friedman will not be happy, but Warner will. Let's just see how much Warner pulls on the straights. We'll confirm whether he's safe in this position or not. Yeah, that is That is engine damage, full Panabianco. The speed Warner is pulling away, even with the restrictor on that Mustang. So that's probably all she wrote. That should be Warner securing P3 as long as Friedman does not bin it. And now it's time for Ken Thomas to charge down that strawberry yogurt coloured Ferrari of McReynolds. Brush has gotten away. Through this traffic, last time we looked, Baslia was 8 seconds off. I think it's less. I think it's 6 seconds. So Baslia still trying to push for that P7. There he is. Ken Thomas being very polite as always and letting him through. So 5 seconds to find in 5.5 minutes. That's a big ask. And we'll also have to navigate the blue flags ahead of him. Shows his intention straight away on the inside just to get that move done and on to the next one. So 2:03.3 for Hatton that lap. 2:03.4. Sebastian not making any time up that lap, stuck behind traffic through the mountain. And Ken Thomas is now, if you see in the background, Ken Thomas trying to move on McReynolds, gets it done. So that's Ken Thomas up to P16. And that Bruce has sailed away. And as we on board with Sander Versterger again in his own race, lap after lap, this will be a P5 finish for Versterger, touch wood. And now it's time for Ligier to have a go at Mario Rutsch's. Mario Rutsch's car looking like 150, 1,000 kilos of chewed bubblegum. Aston no slouch on the straights to see if it can catch. Ligier just trying to put him off into the right-hander. Richard's really trying to stay clear of him. He's actually going green even with that damage on that Ferrari. Now, one man we haven't spoken to for a good 20 minutes is Matt Williams. Oh, bit of a contact the barrier for Freeman. Matt Williams currently 9 seconds up the road from Will Freeman. It's been a brilliant drive from Williams. Bit of argy-bargy. First lap to trying to, I don't know if it's on the limit for me with the contact. But did keep his P1 and it's been driving away ever since. Freeman, since he's got past Panabianco, has never looked back. As ours lets him go on the mountain and crashes, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. I do feel sorry for Jimenez though. Still pick up a P18, but it could have been so much more. Was running close to the top 10s. But there he is, and Williams in that Lexus, making it work. Fastest lap of the race as well, 2:07. He'll be happy to get back on that podium after the struggles of the Lexus this season. First man to win 3 Fats GT championships and in 3 different manufacturers. Great to see him back at the front. Now Ligier still trying to put pressure on Rutsch's. Bit of contact between the two. Rutsch's will hang on. I can see this getting a very Larry. Ooh, Was that a disconnect there? Did we just have a disconnect from someone? That's Patrick Ligier. Has this? I think lots of people are dropping. Lots of people are dropping. I think we just had a mass disconnect, so we may have to come back to what has just happened. That is a mass disconnect there. With 1 minute to go. Yeah. Lots of disconnects all around, so that might be one for the stewards to decide what to do with that. That's been Warner out as well. First server issues we've had all season, so we might have to come together as a community there just to maybe figure out the standings and what we're going to do with those points.
Leaders on final lap now.
So something for the admins to think about here and the stewards to think about. Obviously we've had a mass drop there, about 8 cars dropping out. It was at 22, just dropping to 15 on that last lap, losing some big names off the grid. It may well be that we score it from before the drop, but we will talk about that internally and figure out what the best course of action is. We will try to be as fair as possible. We cannot control these things sometimes. G-Portal do. So last lap now for M. Williams, who's just really, since that first lap in the Argy-Bargy, has had an absolutely flawless drive as he drives down the hill for the last time today up towards the chase. Has been untouchable. I think, yeah, we've lost Warner and Panabianco there, who were P3 and P4 respectively. But we will talk as admins after the race and see what the best course and fairest course of action is. So do not worry if you were running in a position you were happy with and have dropped. We will figure something out. That is M. Williams across the line to take his first, maybe his second P1. I think he might have won the first race of the season in the Nissan, not too sure, but brings it home in a wonderful race in that Lexus. Will Friedman takes P2. Now Sander Vesterga will come down to take what says P3, but I believe it will be P5 if we take the strategy that we wish to. It's a shame that has happened. That'll be Vesterga across the line for, we'll call it P3. He'd be happy with that, but I believe it's P5, and that'll be Pete Smith for P6. And Hatton P5, great drive. Basilia will bring it home. So I'm just distracted by our Discord there. And Richards is the last car on track to bring it across the line in that battered bubblegum Ferrari. So we do apologise for the disconnects there. It is out of our control. It is the first time this season, so count our lucky blessings. It's only just the once. We will decide as a unit what to do with the points and where to score it from, because there's a lot at stake at this part of the season. Next week we are at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It's going to be a 90-minute race, so remember that it starts 30 minutes earlier. It's 7:30 UK time. That'll be 8:30 European time. That'll be quali. So hopefully you don't lose out on any sleep for the next day. So remember, half an hour earlier next week, 90-minute race, double points. Any incidents, follow the procedure. POVs of both cars and out of car view. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you very much.